Привет, добро пожаловать. Welcome back, Mr. J family. It is me, Mr. J, with the Mr. J Show. And today, my friends, we are checking out Ms. Alisa Supronova, soldier of the Immortal Regiment. This was probably right before Victory Day. So yeah, I'm excited to see this. Think we're gonna watch a couple more of her today, because I think I've missed like 6 of her new releases this year, but I'm trying to get caught up with everybody. So yeah, I'll just stop talking and get into it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, hit that super thanks button, and like always, spasiba for watching и люблю тебя. Давай.
Мне приснилось, что вернулся я домой, и что дома ждет меня моя весна. Снится, что, как в детстве, я бегу босой, а навстречу моя родина, страна. Ветреным заревом, грустью рябиновой смотрит в глаза. Песней курлычет мне журавлиною: здравствуй, солдат. В атаке на грани ты, пулями раненый, плененный герой. Без весть пропавший, замертво павший, ты вечно живой. Славься, бессмертный и беззаветное имя твое. Славься всегда, неизменно победное имя твое. Светлое, гордое, честь не предавшее имя твое. Славься, бесстрашное, смерти поправшее звание простое твое. Славься, бесстрашное, смерти поправшее звание простое твое. И как только закрываю я глаза, снится снова мне, что он пришел назад. Снится теплый дом и лучшая весна, а навстречу вновь идет любовь моя. Ветреным заревом, грустью рябиновой хочет обнять. Всем провожая, клин журавлиный кличет, как мать. За дальнюю далью, за смертной гранью, сыночек родной. Сердца наши любят, глаза наши помнят, ты вечно живой. Славься, бессмертное и беззаветное имя твое. Славься всегда, неизменно победное имя твое. Светлое, гордое, честь не предавшее имя твое. Славься
Sorry I didn't really say anything. It's out of respect for the Immortal Regiment and Victory Day. There are just certain things that I have respect for, and Victory Day and the Immortal Regiment. I have the most respect for. I've been celebrating Victory Day for like 4 years now. Um, you guys probably saw it on my channel. I posted it. Me watching the Victory Day parade. Um, but since there wasn't since it wasn't safe, um, it was hard to find. Well, it wasn't hard to find. It's just all of the Immortal Regiment marches were very very small, rather than as large as they usually are. Um, I don't know. Every year that I spend with my Russian subscribers, and every year that I celebrate Victory Day, I I just get a little bit more sad every year when I watch it because, and I know you guys have heard me say this before, but the 28 million people, that number just really gets to me because people here in the West don't understand why I particularly um, celebrate this Russian holiday. And that's fine. They don't have to understand. But what shocks me is that people don't know what the Great Patriotic War was, and why it's so important. And I try to explain to them the best I can, without Russia doing what it did over, like, I think it was like 3,000 days or something. They never gave up, and they kept going and going and going. And what people in the West think, and it's not necessarily their fault. It's that they're not we're not taught in the West about what happened in that era. Um, some like educated people understand that the battle happened, but they don't understand the significance because everyone in the West assumes that once the United States got involved after Pearl Harbor, that it was all of you know the West, that I guess saved Europe or saved the world basically, from uh, the bad guys of World War II. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, the word, but it might get me demonetized. But anyways, um, but what I try to explain to people when is yes, the West did um it's only half true that the West, when it entered World War II, um, that they saved Europe and the world. It's only half true, because the other half of the truth is the Allies would not have succeeded had Russia not succeeded. So if I'll just say it, if the Nazis would have been able to take Russia, um, the that would have been it. The Allies would not have won. The West would not have been as successful. And I try to explain this to as many Westerners that will listen to it, because that's very important for people to understand. And it's not their fault. It's just we're not taught this um in schools for the most part. We're taught about the Cold War and blah blah blah. Um, the rise and fall of the Soviet Union, but we don't really get taught much like post um like 1991. And so um yeah, I just try to let people know that it wasn't just the West that won this, because I just need people to understand that if Russia would have fallen, the 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 whole eastern if the whole eastern front would have been captured, then everything that the Allies did would have been for naught, and everyone would have lost World War II except for Germany. Um, I know I look sad. I mean, I kind of am, because it's so frustrating, for me as a Westerner to care so much about a group of people and about their culture and about, everything. And May 9th just keeps getting more hard for me, um, because no one around me understands. And only my Russian subscribers understand why I do this, and why it means so much to me. It's because I have sat down, taken the time, and I've talked to Russians and over the past 4 years, and they've told me the significance. See, that's the thing. People nowadays, they don't want to just sit down and listen. Um, People in the West, they're pig-headed, and they have their egos are very high, and they're like, "Oh, we won the war." No, because if Russia wouldn't done its thing on the Eastern Front, it would have all been for naught. And people in the West need to understand that, but no one wants to listen, because the narrative has always been Russia bad because of X, Y, and Z. However, in the West currently, that narrative is starting to change, because people are starting to see how corrupt uh, the Zelensky regime is, and the people in the West are starting to. I know this is going to come as a surprise, or maybe you know already, but I've been noticing that people are starting to be like very much pro-Russian. Um, Not like me, like they're going to celebrate Victory Day, every year, but as far as the special military operation, um, they're starting to side with Russia on it, because they're starting to see that, I tell some of the Russian people I talk to, the conflict would be over if they would just the conflict would end today, right now, hands down, if Zelensky just gave the Donbass up. Trump and Putin, and JD Vance have been trying and trying and trying to get Ukraine to do that, and they keep saying no, 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 no. And it's getting to the point where Americans, I'm only speaking for Americans, obviously, Americans are starting to see that. Americans are waking up and seeing, okay, well, they've they've given Zelensky every single chance to stop this conflict over and over and over and over. And now Americans are seeing, like, well, it doesn't. They're basically, Americans are seeing that it's actually Zelensky that doesn't want this conflict to stop. Um, I'm sorry, I'm just venting. It's rough being the only, like, person around me who I'm the only person around here who knows this stuff, so I can really only talk about it with all of you. So excuse my long speech, but um it was a beautiful song. Um and I hope someday to lay a wreath and flowers at the eternal flame, you know. I just try to tell as many people that I know, like, how good the Russian people are, and that Russia's not our enemy. Some people listen, some people don't, but some do. Anyways, it was a beautiful song, like always. I'm gonna take a break because now I'm in a kind of sad mood because I'm a little frustrated about, me being the only one in the West who, like, really cares. I mean, there's Scott Ritter who also cares. So I'm not the only one in the West, but definitely the only one in my area that, you know. But that's okay because I feel like this is all gonna be coming to an end pretty soon because the summer offensive is gonna get a little wild because of the strikes on Moscow. Not even a week ago. Um, and that's a whole nother topic that I'm pissed off about. Uh, I, I was ranting on Telegram to my Russian friends about it. Maybe I'll make a video about it. I don't know how that would work. Maybe I'll put it on the other channel. Um, anyways, Alyssa, you did amazing. It was a beautiful song to commemorate the 28 million, not just soldiers, civilians too, that helped save the world. Anyways, let me know what you think. Let me know. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments section. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, hit that super thanks button. Like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Das Vidanya.